Okay guys, I'm going to be real careful. Talk about fermented foods, probiotics, antibiotics real quick. Basically, don't go stick a antibiotic, please don't just stick an antibiotic in your mouth. Be very, very careful. Make that decision very wisely. It's destroying your gut health, guys. It's destroying it. And with that, with caffeine, with alcohol, with the poor food quality, with the lack of sleep, your gut is being obliterated. A lot of you guys have leaky gut. You're very sensitive to not only the wheat, but the dairy. A lot of you guys develop ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, IBS, and the body is telling you to stop eating certain things, and you won't stop. You have a huge dysbiosis of the gut. The gut flora is so out of whack. You guys are whacked. So, what we're going to do about it? Go run and get probiotics off the Whole Foods shelf? No. Or soil-based, or, you're just going to run and, you got to be careful with the probiotics, because if you have a gut dysbiosis and certain, like, let's say delactate, some of you guys are delactate sensitive, that's going to make your gut bacteria grow even more horrifically. Be careful. That's why oat tests are very important, to find out exactly what strain of parasite, or what type of parasite, what strain of bacteria overgrowth or fungal overgrowth you actually have, so you know what type of probiotic to use. I often say, if you don't know, start with baby, right? 15 billion, 30 billion max culture. Just don't go stick like 70, 60, 70, 80, 100 billion culture in your gullet, because you can create a worse effect. Hence why some of you guys do sauerkraut and get bloated if you eat just like 1 teaspoon too much. If you get bloated on fermented foods, stop taking it. You need to fix the gut first by getting to bed, get off alcohol, get off these harsh foods that are destroying your gut. Don't go run to antibiotics every time you get a cold, because when you do that, you're creating more of a gut dysbiosis. And you keep throwing probiotics in, it won't work. This guy I know, really cool guy, goes and gets dental work done, and as a precautionary measure, he just went and dumped a bunch of probiotics in his body, and he was doing keto, and his blood glucose just went out of control. And I was like, why didn't you do any oil pulling? Why were you just like, yeah, just give me this first? I get it. If you got a really bad infection, you have to take your antibiotics. Well, that's what I'm supposed to say. But really, if you don't try to do any measures to kill bacteria on your own, then you never have your own ability to heal your own bodies, because you're running for all these exogenous sources. Be careful, guys. You guys are so quick to take steroids if you have shingles. You guys are, I'm like, think about subdermal before I said subcutaneous, but it's actually subdermal. Think about what you're putting on the skin, like cortisone and all this kind of stuff. If you guys have eczema, you got to think about how things are affecting the gut, the kidney, the liver, the ability to detoxify all these pathogens and nastiness and little creatures. Kimchi, kombucha, don't just go run towards that. They tend to have too much kefir and milk kefir. Is it grass-fed? Even if it's grass-fed, it might have too many carbohydrates. And if it has too much carbohydrates, it might be the wrong strain of bacteria for your particular gut infection. And that goes for coconut kefir, that goes for kimchi and kombucha. You got to be careful, guys. All of these fermented foods must be tested in small amounts first, so you don't create a worse reaction. Some of the best ways to heal, don't go for colonics and stuff like that, because that will actually suck out a lot of the good bacteria that you're like so desperately trying to hold on to. But there are fecal matter transplants, quite fascinating, from infants. Yes. All right, that's a whole nother discussion. If you guys want to learn more, go to stephanieperson.com. I've got new downloadable plans. I'm promoting them to try to expand this business. I'm tired of doing videos on crappy quality. Yes, but they're great because I work my ass off on them. Stephanie, the business person, on my Facebook, where you could just get good information there. Stephanie Ketogenic on my Instagram, maybe where it's more fun. Yeah. Or Stephanie, what else? Yes, on Periscope. Download the app. Love it. I'll probably do one later today. at Steph the Business, spelled BIZNSNESS. Peace, guys. Watch out on the kind of probiotic that you use. You can exacerbate the problem, make things worse. So do your due diligence and learn as much as possible before you start throwing things in your body.